Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are reporting. First, we'll have a peek through. The Nation newspaper is the first. Lawmakers, why Fubara should go. And the Daily Times also reports the same thing. Rivers Assembly begins impeachment process against Fubara as APC shuns move. Party leaders, stakeholders ask Tinubu to remove Wike as minister. Next is the Friday, Leadership Friday. Reactions trail Rivers Assembly's fresh move to impeach Fubara. And the next is the Nigerian News Direct. Better we all resign than watch Constitution trampled. Rivers Speaker blasts Fubara as Assembly moves to impeach Governor. APC kicks, says impeachment plot is fallout of PDP crisis. Absolutely. Now the Daily Independent, impeachment, Rivers crisis, impeachment proceedings against Fubara ill-advised. APC says action politically driven to destabilize state. Now CLO seeks restraints, says there is tension in the state. Assembly's action ill-conceived, South-South youths. And this Nigeria also speaks on the story that is actually making the rounds. Rivers Assembly dangles impeachment axe over Fubara. Well, I think what you have to do is to brandish axe because axe is a very heavy thing against Fubara and deputy. List budget breaches, demolition of chambers among 7 sins of governor. State Assembly or State APC faction calls for ceasefire. And the Weekend Hope is saying counterterrorism, NASDRA helping military, others to curb banditry, insurgency. That's according to official. Agency says satellite intelligence aiding counterinsurgency operations set to assist Ondo states on development agenda and security. And the next is the Blueprint newspaper. Nigerian Stock Exchange historic 100 trillion naira mark. Birth of a new economic reality. That's according to the president. And Platform Times says power sector bleeds as West African neighbors at Jaokuta default. NERC reports 25 billion naira foreign debt, 1.03 billion naira local liability, etc. And the Nature News newspaper is talking about the pollsters. Trump sparks global outrage as USA exists bedrock climate treaty. We'll also talk about that. And last but not least shall be the Sporting Live. Algeria versus Nigeria. Osimhen Lukman, accord to wreck desert warriors. Absolutely, that's what we have to do. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks by having this conversation with my colleagues, Etoma, Ria, indeed, the cute Olamide. You can use cute for a lady.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we started off by talking about the row between, or the spark between the House of Assembly in Rivers State and the governor, and indeed the deputy governor. I know the deputy governor will be somewhere be like, wow, this problem.
Would you consign me?
But the thing is, some are taking sides. Others are saying that the governor is right, that they don't want him to, enjoy his governance, as we are also, read out the sentiment of someone who is in Rivers State. The same thing for the lawmakers who are saying, no, this is a constitutional matter, forget politics. Yeah. And Wike on the other side is also saying that, listen, you are not the number one when it comes to, because I played a huge role when it comes to electing the president, supporting the president in 2023 election. But in all of this, the Rivers State residents, citizens, indigents are the one that are suffering this brunt.
Oh, yes. And the person whose name keeps popping up when you have controversies like this in River State is the Minister for the FCT, Nyesom Wike. You remember when he had a similar kind of fracas with the former Minister of Transportation, and it's still Wike and Fubara and all of this controversy. You might say it's a constitutional issue. Yes, you might say so. You might want to say, why didn't Fubara present the budget? You might want to say a whole lot of things. But one thing that should be very clear is that if you don't give this man the chance to govern, do you really have the moral right to call him all the names that he has been called? Somebody listening to me now will say, this guy is pro-Fubara. I'm not from River State, so I'm not pro-anybody.
No. Do you think it was right that he went on spending without presenting budget? All states have actually presented their budgets, except River State.
During the emergency rule, a budget proposal was presented to the National Assembly. I guess that's the one he's holding on to.
There was one that was actually introduced, I think 800 billion naira, and then now moved on to about 1 point something trillion naira. I had a conversation with but they said part of the agreement he had, during the problem before they resolved it was that he won't contest second term. They said that's not even the case. And whatever agreement they had, that was when he was in the PDP. Now he's in the APC. He has to contest second term.
But yes, agreement in PDP is different from agreement in. If I said something while I was in PDP, maybe that's not what I want while I'm in APC.
Because you have changed position.
You can never tell. But with the whole Rivers issue, I just feel like we have really, the stakes are very high. I feel like we have left governance and we are focusing on two people. Let's be realistic. We say constitution, we say this, but we know the root of this problem. Everybody knows the root of the problem if we want to be honest. And I think that this man, like Etoma said, I'm not from Rivers State. I do not know about Rivers. I've never been to Rivers. But I also feel like there are a lot of allegations against this man, and this man has not even been given the proper time to be a governor. If we didn't have controversies like this and they levied all these allegations against him, then we can see that something is really the problem. But since Fubara became governor of Rivers State, it's been one problem or the other. It's been one issue with him and Wike. And even when they settled, when the president intervened, I was very happy to see that, okay, there's peace and tranquility in Rivers again, because that is like one of our very important states, like our oil states, to see that we keep having this, confrontation in this state. But I knew that this was not going to last. I saw it. I know that this friendship between Fubara and Wike was not going to last. And it's so... No.
There was just agreement.
There was agreement. The agreement together, seeing them come back together, I just knew that it wasn't going to last. I feel like we need to end godfatherism that is what I stand for, because that is the genesis of this whole problem.
Olamide, section 188 has been invoked, and in another 7 days, in 7 days' time, we'll see what action is going to be taken by the House, even though the APC is calling. They are all in the APC now. So the APC is calling like, come on.
It's not an APC.
You are going on a wild goose chase. You should actually return.
Absolutely. Ministers are appointed under Section 147 of the Nigerian Constitution to assist the president in federal executive functions. What does that tell us? That means that Wike is a federal appointee. We need to remember that and put that into the context of this conversation. And so under that Section 147, a minister has no constitutional authority to influence state legislature, impeachment processes, or internal political disputes in any state. And
you are actually reading the letters of the Constitution. What about the spirit of it?
And we're not going to pretend that this is not being instigated by Minister Wike.
Right.
What I will say is that, Ria, you spoke on godfatherism, and I want to draw parallels between an interview that Wike did the other day. I remember him infantilizing Fubara. He called him a bad child. Godfatherism used to be the best kept secrets of this country. We did it behind closed doors. We did it in silent political meetings. To now come out and call a democratically elected governor of a state a child tells us everything we need to know.
It's not the best, actually.
We'll see what happens in the coming days. But then, absolutely, we're going to be talking about that in our next segment. But let's move on to the Weekend Hope newspaper. Counter-terrorism, Nastra helping military others to curb banditry, insurgency. That's according to official. Agency says satellite intelligence aiding counter-insurgency operations set to assist Ondo State on development agenda and security. And you'll be asking yourself, why is it that the National Space Research and Development Agency has not, we don't know how much role they've played, because when it comes to geospatial or geopolitical mapping, they're able to pinpoint where these bandits are gathering, how they move, where they operate, and all of that. How much have they worked in collaboration with the security architecture in this country?
One of the problems I see in Nigeria is interagency collaboration. It's not very smooth. So an agency might have what to contribute in a situation like this, and they have tried to, lend their help, and they are getting cold shoulders. I'm not saying that is the case. I'm saying that the tendency of that case being true is very high, taking into consideration the history of agency collaboration. Now we have these things. We have agencies like this that could pinpoint. How did the Americans know where to bomb in Sokoto? And I'm one of those that wasn't happy at all when I heard that American bombs were dropped in Nigeria.
They said they gave us Christmas gifts.
Yeah, they called it a Christmas gift. So I would want to use this opportunity to appeal to all agencies you know, that are connected to security in Nigeria, to see that it is Nigeria we're talking about. It's not your agency, how good your agency is or how bad it is.
Ria, you know, one of the challenges for NASDRA is the fact that they have inadequate facilities. So meaning that we need to shore up, we need to ensure that we revamp, revitalize whatever satellites, you know, shortcomings that we have. And the bandits have also learned the act of, or the art rather, of evading tracking. Which is very, very
Ibrahim,
bad.
I'll start with technology has advanced, and if we don't advance with it, we will remain at the back.
Behind.
You know, intelligence is what we can use. Because oftentimes, if you know where these people are, that is when you can attack. You cannot be fighting with closed eyes. You can't be fighting blindly. So I feel like we do not collaborate a whole lot when it comes to these agencies. I tell you what, if we collaborate together, we have all these agencies come out to fight together, we will crop out insecurity in Nigeria. But the fact that we do not also have the right equipment, the right drones, you know, the right things to actually track these people is now a big problem. You know, where are the money for security? Why are we not pumping money into this? Why are we not pumping money into technology to find out the hideouts of these people? Because oftentimes I say it like, we are always speaking about it, but what are we really putting in place? Because if you ask me, I do not even think they have the adequate technology to really help us, you know, to give us intelligence that this is where these people are. So if we now know that this is the problem, what is holding us behind? Absolutely. And this is the same Nigeria you hear that somebody has stolen billions of naira. Now this money is, why are we not putting it back to help make Nigeria better?
I was actually going through the rankings of the global firepower, which ranks the country according to their security might, you know, military might. Nigeria ranks 31 out of 145 countries. That is huge, that's significant. But if we have this as our shortcomings and we are able to address it, then we'll be, because currently we rank third in Africa, we rank even above Venezuela. I guess that's one of the reasons Trump was like, okay, I can't just bully these guys. You know? So if we shore up this security architecture, I think that will also, you know, put us, you know, on the global stage, you know, in a fair position.
Absolutely, Ibrahim. I couldn't agree more. I've said it time and time again. If we are to win this war and this fight against terrorism, it's not by firepower. It will be through intelligence. It will be through organizations like NASDRA, employing intelligence tactics that are way advanced. Every time we look at a win or a gain that these terrorists have made, it is because they had intelligence. It is because they had intel. And I believe that that's what the president is going for with these forest guards. He wants intelligence on ground, but that intelligence needs to be more advanced. NASDRA, we want to see more intercollaboration with other agencies. Let's use intelligence to advantage.
Absolutely.
We have to use technology.
Absolutely.
We have AI, we have everything. I think we are laying behind when it comes to technology, and that's what we should be, you know, focusing on.
All right, let's share the remaining papers that we have. Atoma, if you look at the Blueprint newspaper, it says Nigerian Stock Exchange historic 100 trillion naira mark, birth of a new economic reality, and this is speaking to investors' confidence, market performance, because even the Nigeria's all-share index performed 51.19% return above the S&P 500 and FTSE 100. That's huge, and the president is so happy about this because it's like the first time we're recording this, and we see that Nigeria is not joking when it comes to the economy. Yes,
it is so nice hearing that our stock exchange can do that miracle, if I'll call it.
They've been reporting gains because early this year, I think January the 2nd, we were doing 99 point something, and then by January 5th, we just shot up 100 and something trillion market. Trillion. No, it's so huge.
That is really big. You know, we have heard figures from the stock exchange. We've heard inflation figures, we've heard these figures, and all of them are looking very nice. Right. That means the macroeconomic side of this whole thing is being taken care of. What I would like to see is the micro. I would like to see these figures translate to cheaper commodities in the market, especially food, and transportation.
That's right.
One thing I noticed, Dangote dropped fuel price at a point to 600 and something, I think 690. But transport fares didn't go down with it.
You are going far. What about the Congo of Gary, which turn 400,
of Gary.
and the wrap of Eba is still 200.
One thing
How
about
do you do the
Brian,
maths?
he's going to know the price of Gary and Yam.
What did you say?
So, you know what this tells me is that Nigerians are being unfair to Nigerians.
Nigerians, yes,
That's
now
the
we they do
problem.
ourselves.
All right,
exactly.
then let's talk about the
I
platform.
totally agree with
Let's
that
talk about the
one.
platform.
Now, man, they
times.
do man. Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about the platform times. Power sector bleeds as West African neighbors Ajaokuta default. And then if you see the countries that are owing, Nigeria, the top
Togo
debtors,
is there.
Togo, Benin, and Niger. Ghana is not there. Anyway.
I know, of course not. Of course not.
So we actually need to ensure that we get this money back. We have to withdraw our business, strategy. Even Ajaokuta has been moribund for a long
why
time.
do we keep supplying people that are not paying? The more we continue to do that, the more it will be a big problem for us. We ourselves, we're struggling to see power, then we're not giving people that are not paying. I think going forward, we need to make sure that we collect this money. And I know that Togo is the highest. They are the first on the list. These monies need to be collected, and we need to understand that we cannot keep giving power when money is not coming out. Because even we, the Nigerians ourselves, how well are we seeing power? Although they've promised us that 2026 will be better, we keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. So we saw Donald Trump. If you look at the Nature newspaper, Olamide, we saw Donald Trump, sparking global outrage as USA is exiting bedrock climate treaty. Over 60 different UN and non-UN, agencies that the United States is isolating itself from, saying that the funding is too much, we have to reduce the spending, spend America first, whatever it is. I think Trump is helping the world to realize that, okay, let America just go. Let's unite. Whatever they are taking themselves out, maybe China, Brazil, and all the BRICS should also come in, and then we see an isolated USA.
I think this, him reneging on this climate treaty agreement, it's bigger than America just exiting. Yeah. It's shaking global climate trust.
That's right.
That means that all these countries have come, they understand the effects of global warming and climate change on everybody in different regions, in sub-Saharan Africa, in Asia, in Antarctica. You are shaking global climate trust, and you'll be left behind should there be geographical consequences on your country.
It's really going to be very, very sad, because by the time you see that most of these non-UN organizations are 35, and that of UN system entities are 31. That's I do not understand. Well, it's good.
Nobody ever understands Trump.
The reality.
You can never understand him.
Let us move on to the sporting life. Algeria versus Nigeria. Osimhen, Lookman are called to wreck Desert Warriors. So it's good that we see that Lookman and Osimhen, they resolve their differences. Yeah. And most importantly, this is going to be tomorrow by
I have
5,
my predictions
5
already.
p.m.
Are we ready for my predictions?
Because we'll not be here on Sunday to talk about
Nigeria and Algeria.
Okay.
My predictions: Nigeria 3, Algeria 1. Lock it in.
Nigeria 3, Algeria 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's because I'm forbidden from betting. I will have actually
So on Monday we'll see what
bottom line,
happens.
Nigeria is going to defeat
You know,
them.
I call her Ria Money behind the scenes.
3-1. Lock it in.
Free money.
All right, it's good. We'll be happy to relish the victory, when it actually happens. That's about it for the newspapers up for review.